Back here on Ask the Coach, Joe Myers sitting with Scotty head football coach Jeff Garman. Scotty's losing last night 26-20 at Allen County, Scottsville. Jeff, one key, anytime you play Scottsville is trying to match their physicality. And I guess by the fact that they were able to run the football on us, we had a hard time doing that last night, didn't we?
Well, we did, and that's kind of how it goes. I mean, they've got a good core of kids over there, and we're relatively young in those places. I thought they won the offensive and the defensive line all night long. So, I mean, thought defensively we did play a little bit better after the middle of that first quarter. Made a few adjustments there, and it seems like we kind of slowed them down just a little bit. But those games are won and lost a lot of times. You've heard that old cliche in the trenches, and it's true. And that's an area where we're young in those areas, and those freshmen, sophomores, juniors, they grow up, and we just got to be patient and give them time.
Looking at the drive chart from the game last night, Scotties won the toss and deferred to the second half. So Allen County Scottsville obviously took the opening kickoff, and the kickoff set them up at their own 44-yard line, and took just one play for Nick Brown to break loose on a 56-yard touchdown run on the first play from scrimmage for the Patriots. The extra point by Jack Ward was good at 7-0 ACS, less than 30 seconds into the game. Did you see what happened, Jeff? I know it was run. The play was run to the opposite sideline from where you were. Could you see what happened on the play?
It looked like they just ran like a counter to our weak side, and obviously they did a good job of sealing us down on the inside and kicking our end guy out, and obviously we didn't have anybody there, and it's not the way you want to start a game, but I was really proud of our kids. We go down 14-0, and a lot of people would drop their heads and they would panic, and we just kept trying to keep our boys focused, and you looked up there, and it was, we were right back in the ball game, and then in the third quarter we had it 20-20 and with the ball and a chance to win the ball game. So I can take a lot of positives out of what happened last night, but the bottom line was we didn't do enough things to win the ball game. We didn't do enough things that you got to do to be able to win in that type of environment against a team that was a little bit more hungrier than I thought we were last night, and that's part of youth. We'd won 2 ball games in a row. We were feeling pretty good about ourselves, and kind of got brought down to reality tonight.
When you're going into facing an 0-3 team on their homecoming night, you kind of got to look at that as you're going up against a wounded animal, and they're going to be hungry to get a victory.
Yeah, and we preached that all week long, and I can talk all that till I'm blue in the face, and those boys have to experience it out there on the field, and I worried about this all week long, that this was a scenario that possibly could happen, and it did, but I like the way our kids rebounded in the middle of the game. I mean, they didn't drop their heads, they didn't panic, and it's something that we can build on because this team has shown some resiliency all year long of being able to, never be counted out. And there we were in the end, with the ball and a chance to go and score and win the ball game at the end. And that's about all we can ask for at the end of the night.
Scotties had to punt on their first possession after taking over at their own 35-yard line. ACS gets the football back at its own 32. 6 plays, 68 yards later, 2 minutes and 58 seconds off the clock. Chase Wilson scores on a 26-yard touchdown run. The extra point good for Ward, and it's a 14-0 lead for Allen County Scottsville. I know going into that game, Jeff, the Wilson kid, their quarterback, was really – we talked about it in the pregame interview, their playmaker. He was the leading rusher at 200 yards on the season, had thrown for almost 400 yards. Other than that one play, and obviously he did score there on a 26-yard run, he didn't really hurt you all that bad, I didn't think, last night.
No, we were making going in, and you watch their first 3 games. I mean, he was kind of their playmaker, and part of our idea was to kind of take him out of the game, and they became a little more tailback dominant tonight, and it hurt us. But then I say that, and they had 300-something yards rushing, and they had 130 of them in the first 5 minutes of the game. So you knock that out, we're probably giving up 200 yards of offense for 3.5 quarters. And if you would tell me we could give up 200 yards of offense in 3.5 quarters, I'd take it every week. But I'm not a big guy that gets caught up in the yardage situation. I'm more about a guy that looks at how many points do you allow. And we give away two scores there early that we couldn't get back, and we had been playing this year giving up around 2 to maybe 3 touchdowns a year. Traditionally we're more of a 14-point defense, but it seems like this year we've given up about 3 scores where it's about a 20-point, and we continue to have to work and study the films and try to improve and get better each week.
Scotties get the ball back, trailing 14-0 with 7:13 on the first quarter clock. A penalty on the ensuing kickoff allowed Glasgow to take over at the Allen County 41-yard line, so Scotties able to take advantage of the good field position. 7 plays later, they were in the end zone. Griffin Murphy scores on a 1-yard touchdown run. Griffin ran about 50 or 60 yards on that play to gain the 1 yard to get into the end zone. It was a play that was designed to go left, and Griffin went left, saw nothing but a wall of Allen County defenders, so he reversed field, ran all the way back to the right side of the field, and then had to put a move on a defender just to get into the end zone. But the 2-point conversion was no good, left Glasgow trailing 14-6 with 5:36 to go in the first quarter. And Griffin showed, and we've seen it before, obviously, against Barron County with the play he made, but showed his athleticism on that play.
He sure did, and that's something you can't coach, is that speed, and he's got it, and it was a nice play by Griffin.
So then a series of punts by each team until the Scotties get the football back with 7:27 to go in the first half. And Glasgow scores on a 77-yard drive, 3 plays, took just 35 seconds. Griffin Murphy strikes again, this time a 73-yard touchdown pass down the left sideline from Desi Austin. The 2-point conversion, again, no good. Glasgow trailed 14-12 with 6:52 to go in the first half. And we talked earlier about Desi not being as accurate last night as he had been, but, boy, he put that ball right on the money. He hit Griffin right on the run, right in stride, and he was able to take it into the end zone.
He did. It was a really nice play, and it was a play that we needed at that time. And, like I said, there was some positives we could take out of this offensively. Desi did throw, that ball. I mean, it was right on the money, and Desi was buying time all night long. And the big thing tonight was, they kind of took Ben out of the game, and Ben's been a big player for us so far, and been able to make big plays for us. And we kind of had to turn to Griffin tonight to make those plays, and I thought he did a real good job doing it. And it's a work in progress. We just got to continue to work and try to come up with some ways to get some. Maybe try to move the ball just a little more methodically down the field and control just a little bit more time, in the time of possession. I know we're never going to win the time of possession, but, it puts a lot of pressure on the defense when they're having to go back out there time after time, when it's 3 plays and a punt, 3 plays and a punt, and your defense kind of gets stuck out there, and then it ends up, if you watch the pattern when that happens, you can watch any game on television. If that pattern continues to happen, it seems like the defense gets exposed, and we've had our fair share of that, and it's something that you just got to continue to work and get better at.
ACS came right back, responded to that Glasgow score with one of their own, a 10-play, 74-yard drive, took almost 5 minutes off the clock. Brock Metter catches a 9-yard touchdown pass from Chase Wilson. The extra point's no good. That leaves ACS with a 20-12 lead with 2:09 to go in the half. Scotty's got the football right back, marched the ball down the field, and got inside the 10-yard line. I think got it down to down from the 6-yard line with only about 2 seconds on the clock. So obviously the last play there, Scotties tried to throw a kind of, if I remember correctly, a fade into the end zone, in the corner of the end zone. Was not able to complete that pass. But that would have been huge, Jeff, if you guys would have been able to punch that in right there. You go in at the worst down 2 points, maybe tied if you can get a 2-point conversion, and then you're getting the ball back to start the third quarter. Unfortunately, it didn't work out that way.
No, that's what I had on my mind. You know, if we could score in that situation, we tie the game up. We kind of gain the momentum. We've got the ball starting off the second half, and we could kind of maybe get out and get ahead of them, which, you know, again, when you get out and you get ahead of people, it changes how they can play on offense. And as long as they're ahead, they can sit right there and pound you and pound you and pound you. Obviously, you know, they didn't hurt us throwing the football tonight, and I don't think nobody's hurt us throwing the football so far. But when we've had to put when we put the defense in the situations when they have to throw, you know, that's when we've been the most successful. And, you know, we did that numerous times tonight. And I thought that interception by Jasper was a big play in the ball game. And, you know, and that's one thing about the defense, you know, and I alluded to it earlier. I'm not too caught up in yards per se. I'm caught up more in points, and I'm caught up more in the turnovers. And, you know, that's one thing this defense has done. Well, you know, we've created 8 turnovers, you know, so far this year in 4 games. So, you know, when you're averaging 2 turnovers a game, you know, that's a positive. And we've only turned the ball over 1 time. So we've done a real good job of taking care of the football, and we've also done a good job of getting turnovers.
Let's go right to that interception by Jasper Mundy. It came about midway through the third quarter. Jasper returned it, I think, about 55, 56 yards, if memory serves me correctly, all the way to the Allen County 13-yard line, which set up your next score. But Jasper, just talk about that play. I know it happened kind of over in front of you on the sideline over there. What did Jasper do so well to get that interception?
They were in a trips look, and we stunted off that edge there and got a little bit of pressure on that quarterback, and he kind of just threw it out there into that general vicinity, and Jasper was in the right place at the right time and intercepted it, made a good move to make one guy miss, and got it all the way down there. And I thought it was a big play in the ball game, and it gave our offense an opportunity to score. And now it's tied 20-20. We had a little momentum right there, and you know, again, this defense is, they've kind of bent, but they've always seemed to come up with the play. And even there at the very end, you know, I go for it on 4th down, and, you know, that was really the only questionable call all night long as a coach that I had to make was, do you punt? And we had struggled on the series before stopping the run, and I was afraid we'd never get the ball back. But the kids, you know, I knew I had some timeouts in my pocket, so, you know, I just thought I'd go with it, see if we could make a play. So we had to come back and get another stop, and we did on 4 downs, and was able to give the offense again another opportunity to try to go out there and score.
Kyle Nixon got that touchdown on a 1-yard run after the Jasper Mundy interception, and the 2-point conversion was good on a pass from Desi Austin to Ben Hughes to tie the game at 20, as Jeff was just saying. Allen County Scottsville then scores what would eventually be the winning touchdown. Jalen McPeak scores on a 15-yard run to put ACS up 26-20, and then Jeff, the play that kind of set you up in a bad spot there on that drive when you went for it on 4th and long was a offensive face mask. I guess they were saying that Desi Austin, when he delivered a stiff arm, got his hand up into the face mask of a defender.
That's what they said, and it you know, I don't. It looked like he did do it. I don't think he did it, you know, intentionally or anything. He just kind of put his hand up there, and that's where it hit, was on the mask, and it wasn't like he jerked it or maneuvered it or anything, but he did have his hand on the mask, and that is a penalty. And you know, we got caught with it, and it kind of put us. It was a 15-yard. I think it was a 15-yard penalty, and it kind of put us in a rough spot. And then when I ended up going for it on 4th down, it was like 4th and 20 something, and you know, we were just inches away right there of converting on that, and it may be a touchdown on that play. So, you know, we just come up a little bit short all night long, and you know, we can sit here and beat around the bush about it, but you know, I take full responsibility.